Turn the light on. Okay, so it is very sunny out. Why am I not hearing this? Maybe because I haven't done it on here. Man, that would be annoying. All right, so I guess we're about 4 seconds. Patrons only. Okay, publish. Now, did that do it? There we go. I couldn't hear me, which is always a problem. There is a whole lot of light coming through that. I don't think I can change that. Doing this in the morning, I guess, is just going to be a pain. Okay, here's the 3 bases. Still got them here. Do a little cleanup, I think. So, in here, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but in this one, you can see the paint on the epoxy. And this is what I was talking about. It's super easy to clean off. And you get a nice line when you let it dry on there too. See? Man, I need some sort of guide for that. Way higher than I think it is. Okay, so there's that. Black one won't show up, but I promise you I am also cleaning it. Right in here. This one's being a pain. Don't ever have this much trouble with this. So hopefully I won't scratch the epoxy. I must have done this one thick. There we go. There we go. It's funny how much this microphone picks up for a cheap little headset. Let me get a welcome message in. Okay. So I apologize about the light. I don't know how bad that's going to make it, but I will instill my ever consuming quest for the way I want things. Mind you, I have 4 children and a wife, so sometimes I'm not at fault for things not going right. Not usually, though. It's usually me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I must have done this a little thicker. I also think this is the better folk art paint rather than the cheap stuff. I mean, literally, not cheap, literally cheap. I mean, they are cheap, but I didn't mean that. They're decent. They're good paint for what I do. Yeah, this one's being fun. So, that's good to know, though. If I treat everything like a learning process, then I come out ahead. And I don't get frustrated. Well, we have to figure out something to do with that later. I wish I could show you the sparkliness in the sunlight without moving my entire computer and life around right now. Okay, so these are pretty clean. And this one's coming right off. Perfect. It's looking pretty good. I'll probably just take a wet Q-tip on that, clean it right up when I'm done. It's going to be near impossible to see. Yeah, that light's not going to be it, but the sparkle looks really cool in the sunlight. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, that'll work. 3 brushes so I can do the colors. I've got a little silicone cup in this for doing the wash mixing. I will have to get up and rinse that out because I didn't think that far ahead. But we will start. I'm going to start on this one, I think, because that is just a. Oh, I forgot a project plate. BRB. See, project plate. Just something I typically use over and over. Paper plate for paint, mixing, paint, dabbing, sand application, flocking application. Yeah, and usually it's something that I've had like a sandwich on. Doesn't get dirty. There's no food on or anything. Just breadcrumbs that you flick off and use the plate again over and over and over. So I'm a big fan of sustainability, and that's a huge thing to me on that. Because if you're using stuff, you may as well be using it over and over again. And that way it doesn't look like these little itty bitty guys are using one of these each, and one of these each, one of those, and one of those, one of those. Like, sustainability is really big to me. Being able to do these things while not using more than you need to. Now, granted, I have collected an unbelievable amount of materials, but I do use those and reuse those on a regular basis. Sorry, I had to take the earbud out of my ear because I couldn't talk and listen to myself at the same time. And that will probably happen more often than not. But my beard also makes it really hard because the microphone just likes to sit in it. I know the challenges we all have, right? So I'm going to use this brush, whatever you paintophiles call that, other than just crap. And then I'm going to be basing this one. Oh, I grabbed the wrong paint. So it's going to get a brown first, and then in a second, you'll see the other color. Actually, I could use this. No, that is very yellow. All right, be right back. Okay, I am back. I didn't know the place to set that. There we go. Yeah. You see sale price or anything. Very good. Okay. So now that I'm done talking, put the earbud back in. Yellow ochre. This is the other paint that I use for making dirt. So this one, if you remember from the last live stream or video, if you watched it, I did in sand. So I just put glue and then some sand, some white sand on there from, I don't know where it was from, Michael's or Craft Warehouse. Anyway, what we're going to do is we'll take our project plate, move these over, just right there. We'll take some of the burnt umber from Cheap. And I like using cheaper paint for the undercoating because you're never going to see it, but it adds a lot towards the end. So with these, they're going to be rocky. This one's going to be more natural, so I want it to be dirt. And here we go. Hey, kitty bug. What you up to? It's okay. It's just a live stream. You're fine. Mm-hmm. Sure can. So all I do is get as much paint in as I can. And again, I apologize for the sun. Normally here in the Pacific Northwest, you don't get this much, but it is getting to be that time of year. So and when you do the basing with the sand, it takes a lot of paint on the initial layer, like more than you would probably think. Now, maybe it's the paint. Maybe I just don't use great paint, which is always a possibility. I don't. My interests lie in building, and I respect all painters because I do not have that kind of patience for that. I have patience for this, but man. So, and again, the great thing about this paint is that it will not stick to the epoxy. And yeah, I like to use raw paint rather than thinned down or thickened up or anything. Just because it gives you know what to expect out of the bottle. Even if you don't like dealing with it up front, and millions of things would make it 100 times easier to do. I like to know what things are doing out of the bottle. And for me, this is highly meditative, right? So I could do this all day. Maybe I'll start some talkless videos with just building for ASMR. Teehee. The joke's been made, but now I don't know. It might not be a bad idea. The trouble is you get into that, and then you got to get into the audio file stuff, and I don't have the money for Blue Yeti microphones and whatever they are, inexpensive setups. Right now I work for a living and try to do this. Hopefully this will work out. I mean, I'm going to do it anyway, but hopefully this will generate something, some interest. Oh, I need to get back into my stream. So for those of you that are interested, I'll mention this probably in a few videos just because, well, it bears repeating. I totally lost my train of thought because I got lost in this, trying to get this done. But anyway, it's not a big deal. I have many interests that I can never seem to do anything with to support myself and my family. But get in there. Thank you. All right, so we're almost done with this one. It's taking a little longer than I thought. It's probably a little boring for everybody, but this is my channel. It's meant to slow you down. It's not meant to speed you up. It's not meant to get you up and ready for the day. It's meant to be something, maybe you have in the background. I'm definitely not a showcase show, I don't think. You just have it on the background. Listen to me chat about the garbage that comes out of my mouth. And watch me paint these really cute, cool little minis. So we're painted in the brown on this. Mostly try to get some of these really. I try to avoid this when I do the putty, but I'm so focused on getting a video done that I didn't even think about it this time. Usually when I put the water putty on, I usually try to think of not getting the creases and divots so that I can't get it in there. But anyway, there it is in brown, right? You can kind of see the glint off of the sunlight, the texture, and the paint at the same time. And what I'll do is I'll put this outside right now so that I can get in my little drying area and I can continue on with this piece after I'm done with the others. So hold please. Classic error. Walked away too fast. There we go. Oh, I probably should not have left that there. Man, I am glad I'm learning all this right now. Okay, so project 8. Okay, these are the ones I'm most interested in. Let's do a little red wash. After I use my finger. Oh, and I left it there again. So there's that. Okay. So this one is getting a red wash. So we are going to use this little silicone cup. Right. So we just get the crap out of there. Mm-hmm. These are thick paints. I like them for that reason. Don't need a lot. Do like the folk art paint. Get my little water cup and my rubber. And you don't need a lot for these overwashes. You really don't want to use a lot for the overwashes. I guess I'm using that brush for that. I can use this to stir. And what you're going for is just a really kind of loose paint. You want it to be a little runny because part of what you're trying to do is wash it, not cover it. And the difference is that when you wash something, you're basically tinting it, the color that you're washing it. You are not painting it, even though it looks like it at first. So it's a delicate balance of overwash to wash, which we will be washing these. We're almost there, a couple more drops. And the reason I use the silicone cups is because they rinse out immediately. And if anything dries in there, you literally just flip them inside out. And almost there. 2 more drops. I'm going to add 3 because I'm going to outsmart myself. Oh, yeah. There we go. So you see it's starting to I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's actually starting to run in the cup. And that's what you want. You want it to be pretty loose. So, and what you're hoping for is that after you paint this on, kind of rushed fashion, I guess, but you're really not. So you see how that is, how it's running, and you can still see the black through. That's what you want, because that'll get you the tint rather than the paint. And yes, it is going to be red because this is a thick wash. It's an overwash. It's not a wash. And overwashes are more for tinting prior to dry brushing. And as you'll see, I really have a decent process, I guess, for this, which I got from Bardscraft on YouTube. I believe his name is Lance. I don't know that for sure. I'd have to go back and watch all of his videos again. I've been through them probably 2 or 3 times, but I think it only mentions his name a couple of times. But he is Bardscraft on YouTube, and he's got, even though he hasn't uploaded in a while to YouTube, it's a great channel. I learned so much from him. Him and Neil from Real Terrain Hobbies, I learned a great deal from. So thank you, gents, for putting your videos out, which allows me to now do the same. So in stark contrast to the other piece, I am almost done overwashing this. And the other great part of overwash is that because it's mixed with water, it dries in my little fan so much faster. So I will be easily able to dry brush this here in a little bit. And I may need to put more wash on. I don't know that I'm done with this for sure. It looks pretty darn good. It looks like it's going to dry really nice in a nice sort of dark coating. This one's making me excited. It's going to look good. Dang it. So I wanted this sort of obsidian-y lava. We'll put this in the dry zone. I am going to move my project plate this time and move this into view. Man, that sun is something. All right, be right back. Okay, you back up. All right, now I'm testing equipment. Did that mute me? It did not. Okay, that's good to know. So so here's a silicone cup, right? Here's the best part. Watch. All right, and see, in just a few short seconds, boom. And no, I didn't do some weird switchy thing. This is the same one. What would be the point? All right, so this is what I was saying. It's a little silicone cup. Takes like no time to clean out. It's ready to go for the next one. I won't need it on this one. Oh yes, I will. So what we're doing on this is a tan overwash. And I've got a couple of tans that I'm not sure how well they're going to work. I think I've got a light mocha from Apple Barrel, and I've got a sunflower from Folk Art. I just don't know what I want to use. You know what? Let's do the Apple Barrel. And the reason for that is I shouldn't need as much water. We'll see. Yeah, I won't need as much water. So it's a little runny as it is. Right? But yeah, we're gonna add some water for a wash. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 7 drops in there. It's gonna be very washy. Yeah, see, we got there almost immediately. Sorry, my beard is making an appearance. I don't know why I'm saying sorry. It's just that my beard's making an appearance. A couple more drops, I think, to get the proper real wash. And part of the thing with the eyedropper, right? I pull water out of my water cup. And the reason I do that is it adds almost none, probably, but it adds a little bit of extra color at times, depending on how dark it is, which gives everything such a much nicer, non-conformed look between all of my pieces. So the reason I'm doing a light wash on this is because I don't want all of that red to come through. That is not wet enough. That's weird. This paint is looser and I use more water. It's not working the way I want it. That's fine. Okay, so just kind of go through pretty quick. Maybe if I add just a crap load. I might have to wash this with this stuff. It's pretty coveragey. I might even have to thin this down just by rushing water on it. There we go. Yeah, that's going to do. Because you want, when you're doing a wash, you want to see the color on the other side. Like you want to see the red when you're doing a wash. And this wasn't allowing that to happen, but now we are there. Yeah, there we go. So good to know. Apple barrel is a little thicker than it appears. And it's probably a heavy pigment rather than. So we will be done, but the good news is everything else is pretty much going to be dry. So that very striking red undertone evens out, right? So that's why I did it so bright and so like dark, rich color. Because when you undercoat with a nice, rich color, it shows through so much better. I wanted this to be sort of a deserty tan, like the red rocks, I guess, is the which, if you've not been or seen red rocks, I guess I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like the very sort of Utah-y, Colorado-y desert. Which I always think is funny. People don't think that Colorado has deserts. But anyway, less on that. So you can see we may have to. I was so focused on doing the video that I did not pay attention to my putty, which is becoming an issue here. So I'll get better about it again. Just hard when trying to make everything work, I guess. Now, there are going to be some live streams that I do as actual live streams, which will probably be Thursday and weekend, probably Thursday evenings, just because of the sunlight that we're apparently going to be getting in the morning on Site B. There. So there's that. I think we are going to quickly try to get some of this off of the water, because that's sort of a lot of work I'm looking at right now. So it's not really working. Just because you go. Makeshift Q-tip. Like super quick. And like cheaper. Keep painting myself. Look at that. That worked like a charm. Oop. Almost. So maybe I have to be. The dry brushing will take care of that too, so I'm not too worried about it. Plus, you want everything covered. You see some through because that gives you a nice variation. Right? All right, so that's good. I'm pleased with that. I'm going to throw that in the water. I'm going to throw this little guy out in the drying rack, and I'll be right back. And you can see as the stream wears on, the sun is making its way past my backyard. Speaking of which, I can't see that too much because my backyard looks like crap. On camera. Boom. Any good? Yeah, not really. There for the moment. All right. So both of these are dry in that time, which is why I love using the washes and my little drying system. All right, yellow ochre on the project plate. This is going to be a dry brushing. Ooh, got yellow ochre all over me. All right. Use this nice stiff little brush. Then I use paper towel. So right there. So boom. Wipe it on the towel, and then this is how we do it. This is how we do it. So you get this nice two-toned dirt texture that ends up under everything. And I'm doing this heavy because, well, trial and error has told me doing it heavier is going to take a lot less time. And see, I'm basically just holding the brush like this, and I'm letting the bristles just sort of graze the top of everything with just the smallest amount of paint. And if you can't see it because of the sun or whatever, I apologize. I will work on getting a little bit better area for doing this. So yeah. And if you end up with a little bit too much in one spot, it doesn't matter because, like I said, this is an undertone. It's a fancy undertone, don't get me wrong, but it's an undertone. Because what's going to go on top of this is going to be flocking and bushes and everything else, and I'll leave some of it bare on purpose to catch some of this texture, but it's kind of easier to do everything the way, well, I'm not getting into any sort of theoretical or socio-political discussions on this channel ever, but let's just say how it is on the earth, right? So no matter, there's grass, yeah, but if you dig that grass up, there's dirt, right? Everywhere, no matter where you do it. And so that's kind of the theory I'm going to operate under when I do these, because I feel like if you approach it from a realistic standpoint, you end up with a better product. And I think if you asked anybody, they would feel the same way, any artist or... So this may be incredibly difficult to see. So here we go. I don't know how well it's going to focus on that. Yeah, I do have paint and stuff on the water still. I'll fix that. But we went from the dark brown to now we've got like this dusty, dirty dirt. And the yellow ochre doesn't overpower it because you're dry brushing it. So even though it's a weird color, maybe, that you don't normally use or wouldn't use for something like this, or wouldn't think to use, some trial and error has given me some insight. So this also lends to sort of that fantasy landscape if you will, because the tips of everything are sort of bright while everything underneath is darker. Just get the top of this, because that is the biggest pain, is when you finish everything and all of a sudden you see this little dark area in your freaking gems. So all I'm doing here is basically just stippling in. It's one of my favorite words, stipple. So right by the crystal. Because if I find a dark spot, oh, there's one, but I'll fill that. That's way in there. See that? Right in there. I'll have to get filled. Only because there's no texture on it, so I can't really dry brush anything into it. Thank you. Apologies. Been under a house all week. I'm a little sneezy. Some of my patrons will understand that. So there we go. That's actually done now. Looks pretty darn good, I think. Maybe hard to tell, but you can see it. There's that dry brushing turned out really well. Unfortunately, I think my crappy little camera is not going to be doing very well for this, so I'll have to figure that out too. But there's that one. All right, and then I'm going to clean this brush off immediately because it's the only real good dry brush I have. Okay. That certainly didn't get rid of everything. Yeah, if anybody wants me to try an ASMR video, I'm down for it. The only problem is I don't have directional audio, so I can't switch ears or even really do it that well. Like, I'm not going to pick up a lot of the miniature pops and stuff that everybody likes on there, but okay, why not? Lots of little movements, lots of little scratchies, and this sort of thing. So I don't know, somebody might enjoy it. Nobody's watching, but in case somebody watches this video later down the road, I'm gonna go vape real quick, just like a minute. Oh, and check on the other projects. Gotta figure something out with these. All right, not wearing the glasses. Hi, everybody. Okay, I have to hold off on the vaping because it's dead. The other, let's see. Oh, wait. Dum-dum. All right. So we're almost at an hour, which is weird. That went really fast. So what I'll do is I will dry brush this thing, and then that'll be all of the bases second coated, third coated, third coated, third coated, except for the reflecting pool or the stacking pools, because they are just second coated, but I just checked on it, it's not really dry. So I'm trying to figure out which color I want to dry brush this in, because when I start thinking of like the molten fire type thing, that I can't, other than yellow, which I don't really want to use because I don't want it to look like fire necessarily. It's more like burning ash. So I'm fiddling with this for a second because I'm pretty sure the dry brush I'm going to use is going to be a yellowy one. But I wanted a second to think about it, so I decided to do something else so that you didn't have to just sit there and watch me think. I'll get better at this. So I'm going to go with the yellowy one, I think. Worst case scenario, all I have to do is repaint it. And as you can see, that doesn't take that long. So yeah, the overwashes are super easy to get off the epoxy because they're so fast drying. They don't have time to do anything else. Okay, well, we're going to use sunflower, full cart. And we'll see. I mean, I may not like it. I don't know yet. We're about to find out together. I already like it. Dang it. Yeah, that yellowy tinge is helping a lot. And I am doing this a little bit more smeary because I like that melted, molten look on this one. So I'm not taking off as much of the paint. Do it where they can see, dum-dum. So there we go. Get the inside of the ring, right? And I will have to pull some pictures out of the video of how all of this started, because it did not look like this at all. Which is part of the reason you're here, is to find out the magic. But there's other channels that have done this, so I'm not original. I just want to do it the way I want to do it. And if I can gear it towards things like tabletop gaming or that sort of thing, yeah, that overwash is going to be amazing. But the wash is going to turn this into, it's going to be so nice. That's a really nice color to dry brush with. Actually tones it down. Oh, the red probably tones it. Damn it, I keep pushing the button on the computer because that's where my project plate's sitting right now. Okay. So you see you get that wild marbling is exactly what I was going for on this one, because then you get more of that molten look. So everything I've done, dang it. So the first parts of these I filmed, but not live stream. And so I've got to go through those videos and see if I can pull out useful anything.
My sunburns are gone.
What?
All my sunburns are gone.
Yeah, mine on my arms. I didn't look at my neck, but I know my arm's gone. There we go. So there's that. And I'll let everything dry up and get set up for the next one. Thanks so much. Happy Gnoming.